Hey guys, in this RedGamingTech.com video we're going to be taking a look at today's deals on July 15th for the Steam Summer Sale. Anyway, the first one is Darkness 2, which is available to you guys for £9.99, or you can take part in buying a 4-pack. That of course means you're going to need, well, 4 of you to play it. You save quite a whopping amount actually on this one. It basically means that you get 4 games for £29.99. That means that if you can find 3 other people, then it's a pretty damn good deal. This was of course released on February this year. This is a very good game if you're into first-person shooters or supernatural type of games. I have a couple of videos up actually on the channel. Unfortunately, I lost my save when I was doing a Let's Play of this, and it's on a drive that I'm trying to recover at the moment, the save. So yeah, that's kind of why the Let's Play is on hold. It is a very good game, however. It does have a few niggling issues, storyline-wise. It's so-so. The voice acting, however, is pretty good, and it is very fun. The only thing I will say about the game is it's not anything particularly amazing in terms of, you know, storyline or anything like that. But I think it's written quite well. The voice acting is good. The graphics are quite pretty, and it's very visceral. And to be honest with you, a game like this, it's not really about the story, which I don't think is bad or anything. It's just, you know, not, say, Metal Gear Solid 4. So, definitely worth this checking out. The only thing I will say before you rush over to the add to cart, and this brings me to a very nice point, there is also the Buy 2K collection, which gets you a few other shinies as well. It's $39.99, so, you know, a lot more expensive than the Darkness 2 by itself, but it does get you BioShock 2, it does get you Civilization 5, it does get you Borderlands, Mafia 2, Spec Ops: The Line, and of course the awesomeness that is Duke Nukem Forever, as well as the Darkness 2. So, do you want that pack? That's the 2K collection once again, that's 75% off. That's up to you, I'll leave that one to you. If you're just considering the Darkness 2, definitely worth checking out for the single player. It's not the longest game out there. Depending on, you know, how much you're screwing around and so on, it can probably complete it in maybe about 10 hours. But obviously that heavily depends on, you know, how slowly you want to go through it. If you want to check every nook and cranny and you want to, you know, get all the awesome kills and powers and so on, I believe that you can replay for the entire thing again with all your powers, and so that, you know, adds some replayability as well as some extra difficulty. Once again, definitely worth checking out the Darkness 2. Perhaps one of the hottest TV shows at the moment, The Walking Dead, is actually a pretty damn good game. It's an adventure type of game, and it really helps to capture the atmosphere, the crushing despair and the sheer helplessness at sometimes of the series. It's currently available 40% off, which isn't the greatest discount in the history of man. It was released April 2012. There are, of course, several games in the Walking Dead series that are planned. I believe the 3rd is going to be released sometime later on this year. I can't remember the exact date, I've gone blank on it. But anyway, this is 40% off, which means it's about £12.60. Is this a good game? If you're a fan of the show, which I imagine many of you are, definitely worth checking out. It is still fairly expensive, but it's a very interesting narrative experience, and the fact that your actions throughout the game, in other words you make different decisions, do affect the outcome. And of course, once again, this is going to be over many series of games, so you could conceivably play through this many times over, on each game being a little bit different, a la Mass Effect. Would I heartily recommend it? If you're not really fans of that particular genre, maybe it's a bit of a gamble. There are videos of this game on our YouTube, just like the Darkness 2. So if you're unsure, you should check it out. We're playing through about the first, I don't remember exactly, maybe about 30 minutes or so of the game, and you can get a rough idea of how the damn thing plays. So yeah, The Walking Dead, pretty damn good game. Speaking of pretty damn good game, you remember back in the old days of first-person shooters where, well, it wasn't serious? If you remember the games like, say, Doom and Quake and, well, Duke Nukem, Well, Serious Sam is basically that. It also is 75% off, which makes it £7.49, and you can actually buy a 4-pack, just like you can with the Darkness 2, for £22.48, and you can also buy the Deluxe Edition for £9.99, that's 75% off once again, and you can also buy the Complete Pack, which gets you pretty much every Serious Sam game in the history of the universe. That's 75% off, and that's £16.24. Anyway, moving on. For people who are really interested in tweaking the game, this game has possibly the most complete video collection of options I've ever seen. Literally, pretty much every single thing you can imagine to tweak, you can tweak on this game. That's not particularly amazing, but what is really cool is this game actually allows you to play split screen on the same PC, which is rare to say the least on PC games. Also is a very fun game, although there is 1 or 2 levels that are not that great, to be honest. Particularly, I think it's about the 3rd level in. It's a crap, to be honest. It's not that well designed, but generally speaking, the game is ridiculously fun, and I would heartily recommend it. If you are interested in first-person shooters, or you have a passing interest in them, or you're just completely sick of games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and, you know, pretty much anything that takes itself seriously, this is a great example of that, because I don't really think you can get much more over the top than Serious Sam 3. Very good game. Graphics are pretty good, although I believe the split screen does take a bit of a hit on the graphics department. I'm not sure if that's configurable via config files. I can't remember offhand because it's been a while since I've fired that one up. Worth checking out, and of course it has all the usual multiplayer elements as well. So once again, very fun game. Metacritic doesn't rate it as high as I personally would, but of course, once again, this is down to personal preferences. So once again, Serious Sam, definitely worth checking out in my personal opinion. Next are the Hitman games. You can pretty much get any of the 3 for £1.49. That's 75% off, which is a pretty damn good discount. Problem is with these games, they are a little bit old now. And of course they are releasing a sequel, but you can buy all of them for a small saving, £3.74, so all of them if you would like. If you had to pick one, I believe Blood Money is the latest and apparently the best. Hitman's actually one of the few games of this type that I didn't actually get around to playing. No idea why. But definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of the series. And come on, it's £1.50. I would probably recommend, if you're even slightly interested in it, to pick up Blood Money. And, you know, you're not really going to go wrong with this amount of money. I mean, what the hell are you going to buy with that? It's not really even enough to buy you, you know, even a bottle of water. You know, a large bottle of water is about that price, for God's sake. So, yeah, definitely worth checking out if you're slightly interested in it. Now, one of the other really good games on the Steam sale today is Trine 2. It's actually one of the better adventure and puzzle and platformer and pretty much every other genre you can imagine. It's 75% off, which makes it £3, also known as a steal. It's a ridiculously good price. You can buy the collector's edition for £4.49. That's once again 75% off. And you could buy the franchise, which offers, of course, you know, the first and second one for £3.49, which is a ridiculously good value, to be honest. If I was even going to consider buying one, I would definitely buy the franchise, because that means you get Trine 1, which isn't quite as good as Trine 2, but still really good. That means you're basically getting that game for 50p if you look at it that way. You can also do the collector's edition upgrade for £1.49 if you already own the original Trine 2, or you could buy Trine 1 on its own for £1.74. This is an absolutely phenomenal game. I actually talked about this a little bit in another video. I think it was maybe on the 13th or the 14th. But just in case you can't be asked to go back to it, well, I'll just quickly mention it. There is videos of a little bit of this on our channel. It's a really good game. It's a very pretty game as well. It involves physics in some cases and some logical thinking. And in my opinion, it's one of the more fun games. It's also really good because you can play a couple of players actually on the same system. So you can actually have up to 3 players on the same system, which of course would mean that 3 of you would have to have different joypads or keyboard, mouse, 2 joypads or what have you. Very good. I can't really say much more than it's just a ridiculously good price for this particular game. Definitely worth checking out. I can't really recommend this one much more than that. It's just a phenomenal gaming experience, so definitely worth trying out. Next up is actually one of the few games I haven't actually played out of this set of sale games, and that is the Mount & Blade series. I've done a little bit of research for you guys. Generally speaking, it rates fairly well to average depending which version you go with. On the deals, there is actually, you can buy all 4 of them for £7.49, that's 75% off, or you can buy individual titles for various prices, as you can see on screen. So this one's probably one of those games that you're once again going to either really like it or not. It's an action RPG kind of fare. I'm not particularly that up on this one, I'll just be completely honest. So I probably recommend you do your own research on it. Generally speaking, I have played pretty much all the games on sale. This is one of those ones I have never actually really looked into. Sorry if that's the video, that's the game you came here for. I'll just be totally honest, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Alright, moving on. Next up is the only other game on this entire sale set I haven't actually played, and that is Cities XL 2012. Done once again some checking for you guys just ahead of recording this. It doesn't actually have the greatest reviews. It's not awful in terms of reviews, but it doesn't quite get what you'd expect for a city building game. But on the other hand, there's not exactly a ton of them about. So 75% off, which is £7.49. Bear in mind, all the reviews that you see are, of course, for the full price product. So obviously, if a game is, 75% off and it, reviews fairly averagely, you might think that it's more than worth the punt into the grass, as they would say. I'm not going to comment on this one. I would heartily recommend you do your own checking on this one. Once again, personally, it does look pretty cool from the videos and the reviews I have taken a look at. I really wanted a good building kind of simulation, because I actually was really into the theme parks and SimCities and that kind of stuff, but there seems to be a lack of something I'm really interested in recently. So who knows, it's a fairly modern game, pretty damn good price. Up to you on that one. I would heartily recommend you do a lot of checking on that one, because some people seem to really be disappointed in it, some not so much, and they seem to love it. So that one, that one's kind of up to you. That one might be a bit of a risk, so do your own checking. Next up is Saints Row the Third. This is one of those games I definitely have played and quite damn well enjoyed it. You can also get a franchise pack, which includes some other shinies as well, including pretty much various other DLC. All the DLC actually is an absolute ridiculous amount. I'm not even going to attempt to mention all of it. However, if you just want the normal game, it's £7.49, 75% off. It's not too bad at all. This is one of those games where a lot of people automatically, which is understandable, would compare it to Grand Theft Auto. Let me go ahead and say that they are not the same. Grand Theft Auto takes itself far more seriously than Saints Row ever will. Saints Row, the 4th game in the series, I don't know what the title's going to be, but apparently it's going to be even crazier than the 3rd, and let me just tell you, that's going to be pretty impressive, because Saints Row the 3rd is pretty damn insane. You can, of course, fly helicopters, jump jets, use tanks, and various other things. Be honest, I didn't go for it all the way. I have a tendency in these type of games, just like in Grand Theft Auto, to kind of get bored of the story and then just go on, looking around the city sprees, and I just ended up cheated and pretty much getting all the rocket launchers and everything like that, and just going on insane rampages for a while. It's definitely a fun game, and to be honest, if you're interested in Grand Theft Auto and you're going crazy because you're waiting for number 5, this could be a good, okay, well, I'm waiting, so, I've got something to do. I really enjoyed the first game, actually. It's one of the first games I actually bought for my Xbox 360 back in the day. This one, not a shabby game. I'd recommend checking it out if, once again, you're into these sandbox type of action games. It definitely doesn't take itself seriously, so expect a bit of cheesy and odd storytelling here and there. It's also one of the most customizable in terms of what you can make your character look like. You can make them look like a pimp, or transsexual, or whatever the hell is really floats your boat. You can do some really crazy stuff. I think the craziest stuff I've ever seen is a really, really, really fat person walking around in like I don't know, like some kind of bra and various other accoutrements. So you can do some really weird stuff. But anyway, so you can do some really crazy stuff with the character selection. You can do pretty much make your character look however you'd like. Definitely recommend it if you're just a fan of just blowing stuff up, though, more than the storyline. The storyline's not bad or anything, but once again, I don't particularly think this game was really made for the purpose of the storyline. I think this one was just made for the idea of just going crazy and pretty much just having ridiculous fun. So once again, for the price, not bad. It has been on sale once or twice, but I don't believe it's been that cheap, so I could be wrong on that one though. Next up, following the tradition of this summer sale, is the Indie Bundle 4 this time. This, once again, is £6.99, 75% off, just like pretty much all the other bundles, actually. And once again, if you're interested in even one of the games, unless it's the cheapest one, which is Blocks That Matter, you're pretty much no point in buying just an individual title. It's much better to buy the entire pack. The shiny, happy games in this one are probably A Valley Without Wind and Sanctum. A Valley Without Wind, Marta, who is my co-runner of the channel, reliably informs me that you can sink a ridiculous amount of time into this one. It's a sandbox kind of game in that it's almost like Terraria in that the worlds are randomly generated, and it does actually adapt to how you play. It's an action-adventure indie platformer, pretty much everything under the sun. So it's probably worth it almost for that. It's 40% off by itself, by the way, Valley Without Wind, making it just about £6. That, once again, what's the difference between that and the full bundle? Absolutely bupkis is the word you're looking for. Sanctum is pretty much a tower defense game. It actually is quite popular. Some people really like tower defense, some people don't. I personally have not bought this one. I've looked at it heavily back in the last Steam sale it was in. I didn't end up getting it. It was really cheap. I think it was actually cheaper than this. I think it was like $2.99 or $1.99. I just didn't get it not because of the price. I just knew I wasn't going to play it because tower defense has never really been my thing, which is another reason that I've never actually played or bothered with Orcs Must Die. However, the graphics do look very pretty, and the game is quite fun. You can pretty much set up your towers however you'd like, and then you can actively take part in the defense. Once again, I would recommend, if you're buying this one particular title, to get the entire pack. It's £4.20 by itself, that's 40% off. It's absolutely pointless just to get that. You may as well get the entire set. So it's not bad or anything. I just, would definitely recommend you get the entire set. And you can also get a few other games such as Super Brothers Swords and Sorcery EP, which, scores well in the Metacritics and various other things. So it's an adventure indie game once again, like quite a lot of indie games recently. So overall, not a bad today's deals. The community have also voted for Legend of Grimrock actually to be really cheap, which once again, as I said the other day, I covered, and it's actually a really good game. It's 60% off actually, £4.79. This is a deal that's actually going to end soon. It's one of those flash deal things. I'm just mentioning this out of, because of completeness really. Once again, it's an old style dungeon crawler. If you are more into the pretty graphics and lasers, then you're probably not going to really like this one. If you are a fan of the old traditional dungeon style games and you feel that you've been slighted by companies in the, nowadays basically with pretty much dumbing it down, if some people would say, then Legend of Grimrock is the one to go for. It's a very good price. There's also a few other deals at the moment that are going on that are definitely worth it. There is Magicka, £1.99, 75% off, and there's Killing Floor, which is so-so. So yeah, there's some really good deals at the moment that is currently going about. There are a few other games at the moment that are not too bad, but I'm going to be dealing mostly with the collections over the next couple of days towards the end of the sale. So hopefully you guys will know. Obviously, yesterday's deals are still on, assuming you're watching this video within the next, I don't know, 10 hours or whatever you've got remaining. 11 hours, 31 minutes apparently. So, out of that, Dirt Showdown, not so great. Frozen Synapse, pretty damn great. Tropico was okay. Elder Scrolls Skyrim, well, I'm not even above to mention that one. Indie Bundle was pretty damn good. Borderlands, pretty good, but there's a sequel coming out soon. Dead Island, not a bad game at all for the price, but some people say it's repetitive. Other people really love it, so I'll leave that one to you. Orcs Must Die, really cheap for £2.99. Some people love it, some people don't. Two Worlds 2, not bad game. It's similar-ish to Skyrim, but for 75% off, which basically makes it £5. It's not a bad game at all, but it didn't get great reviews. Probably okay if you're interested in that type of thing. So that's just a brief overview of what we talked about yesterday. I think that's just about everything I covered. So with that said, I'm going to edit this, shall I say, and get it up. So hopefully you guys will have found that helpful. So take care of yourselves and bye for now.